Welcome to the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Pluff. Each week, we will cover various topics that dads struggle with in their fitness journey. I'll give you actionable steps that you can apply right away, not only to take back control of your own health, but so you're able to be a better example for your kids too. All right, welcome back. This is part 3 of the 5-part mini series on how to take back control of your health. So in part 1, we talked about assessment and goal setting. In part 2, we talked about creating a personalized fitness plan based on your needs and goals. And then today in part 3, we're going to be talking about how to implement a healthy diet. Now, nutrition is going to be a crucial part of getting in shape. And so implementing a diet that's, it's balanced and nutritious, providing your body with, the fuel it needs to perform, recover from your workouts, and just show up better in everyday life. Now, you're probably wondering, why, if nutrition is that important, why is it step 3? The reason it is step 3 is because this tends to be the most difficult part for a lot of people. You've probably been eating fairly similarly for the majority of your life, and so changing your nutrition, changing how you eat, changing your habits around food can be very difficult. And so nutrition is going to be the driver of fat loss, right? Your workouts are going to help you maintain your results, but they're also going to help improve your body composition, right? You're going to be able to not only improve your health, but you're going to be able to pack on a little bit of muscle, right? And so, but the nutrition is what's ultimately going to lead you to your success. And so you've probably heard of the 80-20 principle. And so 80% of your success is going to come from nutrition, 20% is going to come from your workouts. And it's probably closer to 90-10 if we're being honest. 80-20 sounds awesome, but when most people try to practice that 80-20 principle, that honestly they're probably closer to 50-50, right? They take this flexible dieting approach where they're adding in nutritious foods, but then they leave a little room for some play foods, some sometimes foods as my wife and I like to call them with our kids, but then it ends up kind of getting to 50-50, right? If you've ever been to like Crumble Cookie or something, they have these ginormous cookies and they're just packed, they're just packed with calories. If you ate a whole one of those, like that's half your day's calories right there. But, it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon, right? To eat one yourself. And so if you're eating one of those and you're eating, regular meals throughout the day, all of a sudden, the ratio is shifted quite a bit, and then you're stuck feeling frustrated, right? You're not seeing results. You've tried tons of things in the past, but you haven't really dialed in the nutrition. So nutrition is going to be super important, and it takes time. Nutrition takes time. There's a lot of programs that promise fast results, and the truth is, yes, you can get very quick results when it comes to dieting and losing weight and just making some simple changes in your nutrition and in the food aspect. But it's not as easy as just swapping foods out, right? Because one, taste is a real thing, right? How many foods do you eat that you don't actually like? Probably not many, right? And so I think sometimes when you're younger, you kind of have either a positive connotation of food or a negative connotation, and the negative connotation of certain foods seems to be around some of the health foods, right? I think of things like fruits, vegetables, things like that. You don't when you think of like a snack, you probably aren't thinking, well, let me go get a bowl of strawberries, right? You're probably thinking, well, what's in the cupboard? Can I get a granola bar, some chips, or something, right? It's much easier. It's going to be a little bit more satisfying. That's why is it more satisfying? Because we've associated it with a snack, right? And when we can start to kind of challenge some of those perceptions a little bit, nutrition starts to become something that is not as stressful, right? A lot of times if you have a very poor relationship with food, kind of looking at it as either good or bad, then you start to feel bad about yourself when you eat some of these foods that aren't serving you as well. And so some food has more nutrition for you, some food has less food nutrition for you, but it's just food. Food has no moral value, right? And even if we tell ourselves these foods are bad, we like to be bad, don't we? We tell ourselves they're bad, and the more we resist, um, the more those cravings are going to persist, right? And so, really getting away kind of from the morals of food there, looking at food as food. Food is just food. It has no moral value there. It's not good or bad. Some food is more nutritious for you, and some food is less. And this can take some time. And so the reason why this is the third step is because once we figure out our goals, right, we can start taking action right away with a workout, right? You can do a body weight workout at home, you can do a 10-minute workout, and you're already making progress. But when it comes to nutrition, there tends to be a lot of resistance here. So it takes a little bit more time. And so, but once you're able, to combine, your fitness and your nutrition, you're going to be well on your way to seeing some incredible results. So this was step 3. So step 1, just as a recap, assessment and goal setting. Step 2, creating a personalized fitness plan. Step 3, implementing a healthy diet. And then in our next episode, we're going to be talking about step 4, which is establishing a routine. That concludes this episode of the Fatherhood Fitness Podcast. Thank you for those of you who took time out of your busy schedules to listen. If you have any questions or comments or an idea for a topic for a future episode, please feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear from you.